Claude can now handle your entire email calendar because you can now ideate, write, design, and schedule an entire month's worth of campaigns in under an hour. So in this video, I'm going to build 4 campaigns for Rode microphones, from giving Claude the right context to the exact prompts I use to write and design every campaign, as well as scheduling those campaigns into Klaviyo. So let's get straight into it. So to show you how easy it is, you open up Claude and you just go to the Rode website or whatever website it is. I'm just going to put in some information. I want to make campaigns for this brand, write copy using this framework. And then I just go to the About Us page, copy this. And then you drag in my campaign month planner and you just go, ta-da, and it's going to plan a month of campaigns. And now generally I recommend you just use the highest model. I have Fable 5, but just for the sake of example, I'm going to use Sonnet because not everyone has Fable 5. And what it's going to do is give you some ideas for campaigns. So for week 1, it says this. Not all the ideas are going to be good, but I'll just pick some of these. I'll just pick 4. So I'll pick this one. I'll pick wide. This one sounds good. Social proof, this one sounds good. And then maybe this. And after you selected the ideas, you drag in my copywriting master prompt and you let that run. And that's just going to run over here. And my thing will just ask a couple questions sometimes and you can answer those. And then it just spits out this as copy. So it's broken it down by headline, subheader, call to actions, and sections. I'm just going to ask it to give it to me as a .md, so it's easier for me to put it into the design part of the process. And then I got the copy here and I can just click download as .md. So then to turn these campaigns into designs, I just go here, I click designs, and then it brings up Claude Design. And then what I got to do is drag in my design framework MD, which you can also download in the description, the copy. And then you also want to drag in the images that you want to have in the email. So drag in the images, and then also I'm going to put in a screenshot of the website just to give it some brand guidelines to work with. If you have brand guidelines, you should probably use that. And then you just say create for email campaigns using the specifications I have given you. And it knows how to do that because I gave it the visual design framework. And then I just click go and wait and let it rip. All right, so this is starting to work now, I think. Beautiful. So it just takes a while to do a little bit of cooking, and then it, after it does its calculations, it just starts spitting out stuff and we can watch it come to life. Some of the pictures are getting a bit repetitive, but that's more an issue of us not giving a big enough range of photos rather than Claude itself. But so far, it's looking okay. And it's not guessing product shots, it's just saying, hey, drop the actual photo. It's just leaving placeholders, which is really helpful. And it's also added placeholders here for where you should put quotes or doesn't guess stuff. So yeah, this is the first look at the campaigns and you can see that it's not horrible. Could it be better? Yeah, but this is actually pretty good if I say so myself. Definitely could be better, but first draft, it's good. So if we want to make changes, like if I'm just scrolling through, I can see that this heading isn't as bold as I'd like. So a few ways to make changes. I can just click edit over here, click on this itself, and then use the sizing to just make this, for example, 30. I can make it bigger. I can change the colors to make it like white, just to make it stick out a bit more if I want. I can even, I don't think I can, maybe I have to unlink it so that I can move it, but I can move it. This stuff, I can change the font, make it smaller. If I want a bit more of a more design change, what I can do is click save for that. And then this section, I'm also not really happy. I think it needs a little bit more oomph to it. So I'm literally just going to say, hey, in the first email, under the what's actually happening section, I need the dot points to have a bit more. And let's see what that does. The only issue with putting it in the chat rather than making the change yourself is that you do need to wait a bit, but it's fine. And bang, here's more oomph. This is exactly what I wanted. So now it's a bold headline and literally exactly what we wanted. So if I want to do this to this part as well, I can ask it to do that and it does it. And so to export this into Klaviyo, there's two ways to do it. You can either do it as a standalone HTML, so you go share and then you click project HTML and then you go to standalone HTML and export it, and that'll give you a HTML file which you can export into Figma. And then once you're in Figma, you get this HTML editor, you drag it in, upload it, and then you can make slices here and then upload it into Klaviyo. Another way you can do it is you actually just export it as images itself. So you click PNG over here, you just select each slice of the email, and then you slice it bit by bit as PNG. So you go download PNG here, and then you click share, PNG, download the second slice, and then you go share, PNG, do the third part of the email, and then you go share, PNG, 1, 2, 3, and then you go to the fourth part of the email, and then share, PNG, fifth part of the email, share, PNG. Obviously, we would have uploaded a normal product shot here, but just for the sake of example, so you can see how it works, I'm going to export this part too, as if there is an image shot there, and then share, PNG, do the footer. And then you schedule the email, you go into Klaviyo, you click create campaign, you click single channel, choose a date in the future, make sure it's email, click continue, and then you select a segment that you will send it to. I'll just click newsletter, click next, and then you can type in your subject line and preview text here. So I'm just pasting in what we had from our Claude, and then we go here. And then we go click any template or just click create and then dismiss this. And then we just want to delete these segments and then drag in, we delete this as well, and drag in an image block. And then we go select image, we upload image, and we just upload all of the slices. So if this is the top one, drag this in, press the top, oh, no, that's fine. So the header is the only image that we just need compressed because that's right at the top. And then we replace, where's the road images? We go here and then duplicate this and then select it, replace with, you might need to refer to the actual email. Two creators with the same microphone, two creators with the same microphone, this one. And then click duplicate and then replace 3. And then duplicate, and then replace, and then this is 4, duplicate, replace, this is 5, is that right? Yes, and then 6, and then duplicate, and then replace with 6. And again, we wouldn't do this in a normal example, I just want to show you how it's done. And then duplicate, and replace, and we go 7. And then we click preview. This is what the email looks like. And it's fine. And then we can send a test, send it to my email, send a test. And here it lands. And this is what it looks like in my email. So yeah, all we're gonna do here is just go to done, next, and then just finalize the timing. And we are good to go. We go next. Schedule, pick a day, pick a time, and then schedule the message, and we're good to go. So as you can see, we made and scheduled a bunch of campaigns for this brand, and it was really easy. If you want the MD files that made it super easy, you can click the link in the description to get them completely for free. There's no obligation. But I'm now just going to redo this process from scratch so that if you don't have the MD files or you don't want to download them, you know how to build this from scratch or make your own MD files, for example. Now, if you're looking at these emails and thinking, wow, these are actually just a 5 out of 10 in terms of how good they are, but you don't have enough time to actually build very good emails or learn how to design them yourself, we actually run an agency where we make 10 out of 10 emails for our clients. So if you run a 7-figure business, I will show you exactly what you're doing wrong in your email design and what you can improve on a completely free email audit. I'll also analyze every other aspect of your email marketing strategy to tell you where you're making mistakes and what you can do to fix them. And I'll give you that roadmap completely for free. There's no obligation that you work with us. However, if it makes sense, we can work together. So if that sounds interesting, you can click a link in the description and we'll chat soon. Now let's get back to the video. So the first part of making campaigns is figuring out what are we actually going to send to our database. And the key to doing that is really, number one, figuring out who we're sending to. So in the case of this example, we'll just assume we're sending blasts to the full list. We don't normally do that, but just for this example, we'll assume we're sending it to everyone. And if we're sending it to everyone, we have to consider that there's people on the database who know everything about us. They're big fans of Rode microphones. They've bought from us like 3 or 4 times. They have all the products like me. But conversely, there's also people who are on the list and kind of forgot how they got there. They don't really know. Maybe they signed up for a giveaway like months ago or years ago. Maybe they just signed up and don't care anymore. Maybe they signed up quickly because they were in the market and then they just bought competing products. But the point is, there's a bunch of different types of people. So for the campaigns that we're going to come up with, we want to make content that's kind of relevant to all of them. And the easy way of doing that is just making it based on what stage they are in the funnel. Are they top of funnel awareness? Are they middle of funnel awareness? Or bottom of funnel awareness? So that's what we're going to say. We're going to say, hey Claude, come up with ideas based on where they are in the funnel, and we're going to give it a bunch of information on the business so that it can come up with this sort of content. And the best source of information, the best way of knowing about the customers is just pasting in reviews of the product. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to say, hey Claude, come up with with a lot of email campaign ideas. We don't want to say 4, we want to say a lot, and then we want to screen down to the ones that we like. For Rode microphones, I want ideas that appeal to all stages of the marketing funnel. And that's top of funnel, middle, bottom, etc. I'm going to give you a bunch of information on the brand. Use this to generate the ideas that are relevant to the customers and product. And then what do? We go Rode microphones, reviews on Google. Find this. I'm just going to go to Trustpilot because that's the easiest way to get a lot of reviews on bulk. And we go here. And weirdly, this is a great brand. I love the product, but they have horrible reviews for some reason. 2.7 is not good. But that's actually a good thing because it gives us a lot of insight into what people like and don't like. So we just copy this, paste page 1 in, go on to page 2, copy this, paste page 2 in, page 3, should be less over here, and then paste. There's not enough for it to actually paste, so I will. And then what is actually helpful is if I go to Rode microphones, Rode microphones, the website, I might even just put in a bit on About Us, just so if I go to the About Us page, go here. This is obviously a big enough company so that if I were to just say Rode microphones, Claude would populate the info, but for your business, maybe that won't work. So I'll show you what I would do if they didn't have this anyway. And then I just click go. Like I said, I would choose the highest model. I would choose Opus or Fable if you have that. I'm a token billionaire, so I'm able to do that. But just in case you're not, I'll show you how to do it with Sonnet as well. Spits out a bunch of ideas. The full funnel email campaign map from Rode, built off what's actually in the reviews and brand story. So yeah, top of funnel ideas, middle of funnel ideas, and bottom of funnel ideas. So I'm just going to go and pick the ones which I like. And then it's also got some post-purchase retention loyalty emails. So what I might do for the monthly campaigns, I might just pick one of each. So which one sounds the coolest here? Microphone in every vlog you've ever watched. I don't want that. This, your iPhone's built-in mic is costing you views. I like this one, so I'll put that here. We go to the middle of funnel. What's actually in the box? This is good because it's preempting the review complaints about missing cables and adapters. So this just tells people up front what's actually in the box. I always like a good social proof digest, but that's fine. We won't use that. We'll just do one of each. 10-year warranty spotlight. That's awesome. Exactly what happens if something goes wrong. Oh, here we go. Exactly what happens if something goes wrong. Maybe the warranty is a great thing to have. And then for the retention is a good, interesting. User-generated content spotlight. So those are the 4 that I like. And now that we got these ideas, what we're going to say is, I want you to write email marketing copy for these emails. And the thing that you need to note is that to get emails that actually look like these, we need to get the copy in sections. So for example, this is a section of email, and this is called the header. This is called the call to action. This is called a subheader. This is called body copy. So we need to kind of classify the copy that it spits out into those categories. And the way that we do that is we just say, hey, like actually, I want the copy to be in the following format. Call 1, header, subheader, call to action, subheading 1, body copy 1, call to action 1, and we say subheader 2, body copy 2, call to action 2. And then we say column 2 have the copy for each of those sections. Now, if you have any guidelines on how you write as a brand, if you have examples of copy, that would be really good to paste in here. You can say, I'm going to also give you examples of how we write, and I want you to use that to write in our voice. Outside of those brand guidelines, there's some general rules that we want to follow with writing copy. Number one, we don't want our copy to be too long. Like generally we want our emails to be skimmable. We want the copy to be short. We want the length of the email, like we want our info to be spread across multiple sections. So we just say, number one, I'm just going to say some of the rules. Keep the copy concise. We want the emails to be skimmable rather than having big paragraphs. Header, try to keep it under 5 words, max 8 words. And then we say make the campaigns for these email ideas. Sorry, make the copy for these email ideas. And then we let it rip. And then it spit up some copy. So it said, want me to drop 2 to 3 subject line options? And go, yes. Please give me subject lines and preview text. And once it gives me that, I'm going to say, give me the copy and subject lines together in a complete MD file. So now we've got the copy. So we download the copy as an MD and we're good. Obviously you would read through this and make adjustments. I'm just kind of skimming through it, but this is how we generate the copy like quickly. So now that we know what we're going to send and we have the copy written, it's now on to the design. And for the design, we've got to start off by actually just getting the image assets. So you'll probably already have pictures of your brand to use. But if you don't, just go onto your website and right click and save all of the images you have, like I've done in this example, like I've done to add into this folder over here. So we want a mix of product shots, we want hero images, we want just pictures of models and people holding the product, etc. And then a bunch of pictures of your product itself. If you have any brand guidelines, it's great to add in over here. So after we have the copy, what we're going to do is find some examples of emails that we really like and use that to get a reference of what we want the emails to look like. And I mean this in terms of like the structure of how the emails look. So over here, I just opened up Milled. These emails came out by this brand, Laird Superfoods. We don't want to pay attention to the color scheme or the copy of the emails, but more so just how stuff is laid out, the graphics. And if we like that, we can save the layout of the emails that we like. So I'm just going to make a new folder here. And this is, maybe if I go here, emails, I like the layout of, and click create, and then click save. And then we'll just keep going through and find more that I think are good. This one, what's this? Glance, not very good. Oh, this is cool. Not really our aesthetic though. What about like if I just search tech? This is not bad. I like this. Not a huge fan of this one. I don't hate this. It's not great, but it's all right. I think it's close enough. Maybe DJI, do they have emails? They're a direct competitor to Rode, right? Not horrible. Not great. Nah, it's actually not. I don't love this, to be honest. What other companies are like What are companies like Rode microphones? DJ Sennheiser, good idea. Sennheiser, not a fan. Holyland. This is actually the other brand I was considering buying. They don't even send emails. And so what we're going to do is we're actually just going to go into Claude Design and we're going to start our massive prompt. So we're going to say, I want you to create 4 email campaigns. I'll provide you with the copywriting, the image assets, the brand guide, a screenshot of the website so you can make emails look on brand. I'll also give you examples of emails that I really like the structure of. Completely ignore the copy and imagery of these emails. Just look at their structure and how the elements are laid out and try to create a similar layout for the Rode emails. And then what do? We just drag in everything. So we drag in our campaigns, we drag in our imagery, we drag in the website screenshot, and we drag in the emails I like the layout of. And we let it rip. Oh, so now this has some questions. One, how do you want the emails delivered? I want 4 emails side by side. Email width, 600 is perfect. Go to header and footer, yes. Do that. Which reference feels closest to the direction? What were the references again? This, or this. Variations to choose from. Maybe is this. Black pill. And continue. And then back to my. There we go. Oh, and it's just built them next to each other. It took a little bit longer just because it was rendering multiple emails, but this is the first look at what it's come out. So it's just given me an A version and a B version of each, and I can kind of select which ones I like. I'm not really happy with either. For this one, I kind of like the right version. For this one, I think this one looks a little bit better. I think for this one, but I would actually just move this higher up so that the headline and call to action is on top of the image rather than a separate slice in itself. This one does it pretty well, which I like. For this one, I like this. So yeah, and again, this is just the first draft. So if there's, we have to make edits to this to actually make it look good, but some things that I kind of noticed just from looking at this is I would prefer if the headline and the copy was in the middle. I would prefer if there was a bigger space between the edge of the email and the left side of the text for everything. I'd prefer if there's just more width, more space on the sides of the emails, like on this, for example. So yeah, once you have this, you basically just go and make edits to this. Here are my selections, 1B, 2A, 3A, and then I like the one on the left, 4A. Here's my notes on what to change. And we just want to dump it in one go just to save our. So for 2A, I'd like the header text to be on top of the image rather than a separate section of the email. Same for 3A. We want this text on top here and we want the call to action underneath. I want the header text on the top part of the image and the CTA under on the bottom part of the image. And I think this is, also some general notes. I think the text is a little bit too small. So make the text a little bit bigger so that it is all readable on mobile. One of the key rules to email design is that it has to be mobile optimized. And then I just think one thing that helps with that is if everything is centered, like this rather than like this. So to be honest, this is probably a better example, but I just like how it has the text on top of the image here, which is why I'll keep this as is. But yeah, if I put all those notes together, send, let's see what it spits out. Okay, so it actually kind of messed it up, but let's see if I can do that. Oh, no, maybe this, no, this. There we go, we did it. So we can just move it by using the position. And then I think with the padding, nope. Oh, there we go. And then we just drag that there. And then maybe make this a little smaller. It's just a little funky, but there we go. And that looks good. I like it. I actually really like how this looks. This ideally is a little bit more centered, but let's see what it did about the actual. Let's actually do the same thing for this one. If I just click into this image, that's the image. Let's go padding. There we go. And we can make it as wide as, I think actually what would be better here is if I go at an offset, move this down. There we go. And then I just add a bit of an offset here. Sorry, not an offset, just add a, there we go. Spread that out a little bit. This is a little bit cramped, but it'll do. And there you have it. That is a month's worth of campaigns made exclusively inside of Claude. Now, full transparency, these emails are probably a 6 to 7 out of 10, and they're pretty good. They do the job if you're a business that does under 7 figures a year in sales. However, if your business does a couple $1 million in sales a year, you probably need a retention strategy that's actually at a 10 out of 10. And that's what we help brands do. We work with over 150 businesses all around the world to generate them over $60 million in email marketing revenue. So if you want to make 10 out of 10 emails for your business, you can book a call using the link in the description and we can chat soon. Now, creating emails is just one part of a robust email marketing strategy. What also matters is sending it to the right people and your deliverability. So if you want to learn how to do that, I strongly recommend you watch my segmenting video next.